we touched on it, but the example of the vending machine. Everything we need to learn about boundaries, we can learn from a vending machine, right? And so the vending machines teach us a series of behaviors to get a need met. Put the dollar in, hit C4, put a dollar in, hit C4, a Coke yields, okay? So, or vends. And so the vending machine just taught me exactly what to do to get what I want from it, right? I can't put a dollar in, that's not enough. I can't just hit the button, that's not enough. It's a very specific series of behaviors. And vending machines aren't shy about it. Vending machines are like, well, I wonder if that's too much to ask. You know, vending machines are like, oh, well, I wonder if they're gonna hate me after I do this. Vending machines, like, it's very simple. And it's interesting because when vending machines set the limits with us very consistently, we don't care it's fine. Right? Like, of course we put the dollar in and hit C4, right? But imagine how frustrating it would be if every time we went to this vending machine, it was a new series of behaviors to get what you wanted.
Wow.
Confusing, right? Well, last time I had to put the dollar in and hit the button. This time I just put the dollar in and the Coke came out. And then one time I put the dollar, hit the button, and nothing happened. And then one time I hit the dollar, hit the button, and corn nuts came out. Like, that would make us crazy, right? And so if we set inconsistent boundaries with people, we're really confusing them. But if we set consistent, firm boundaries over and over and over, people do well with that, right? Just like the vending machine, all right? So let's say I've been going to this vending machine for a year, and one day I go and I hit the button, I put the dollar in, I hit the button, and no Coke comes out, right? I don't just walk away. Nobody in the history of the world has ever just walked away. Over like 75 cents too. I mean, you can come undone. 75 cents, you know? But it's not about that. It's that the vending machine has taught you a series of behaviors. And so when we don't get what we want, when we get the series of behaviors, we temporarily do an increase in those behaviors and we escalate. Right.
I'm hitting the vending machine. Now I'm hitting on it, right? I'm ramming my body up against it. It's a 75 cents net, right?
Right. So it starts like this. You put the dollar in and then you hit C4 and nothing happens. But you've been taught that C4 works. So then you have a temporary increase in C4. So you go C4, and then that doesn't work. Okay, but this thing vends. And so I escalate. And so now I start knocking the thing, right? And then that doesn't work, right? And so then I start kicking the machine, right? And that works. Let's say that works, right? What did the machine teach me?
An increase in my behavior. Like you said, that burst in my behavior is going to yield me what I want.
Right, so what's gonna happen over time? What next time I come to get the Coke, where do I start? You got it.
Right.
So when we're setting boundaries, beware the extinction burst. You need to understand that if you have reliably vended, okay, when people are used to getting what they want from you and you say no, they're not going to walk away. Okay, they're going to hit C4, then they're going to shake you, then they're going to kick you. This is the most important part. Do not bend as the extinction burst escalates. If you do, they will start there next time. Okay? So like we talked about this last time too. The self check-in, right? The boundary with the self. Can I hold this boundary? Am I ready for an extinction burst? If I am, you got to ride this thing till the wheels fall off. You cannot buckle in the middle of an extinction burst. You will it's better not set the boundary at all.
Exactly.
Live to fight another day, okay? Than to set it, have an uptick in behavior, reinforce the increased intensity of behavior, problematic behavior, right? And then fold. You just give them a cookie for acting out. And you are assured more acting out in the future because we just taught them that it worked. Okay. So that's really important. Beware the extinction burst. You should always expect a temporary increase in behaviors before people walk away. Girl, one time I actually called the number on the vending machine in Howard. Howell building underneath. I was so hungry, and that's the only thing. And then I was like, C4, bam! I mean, I was shaking it, and then I literally, I'm calling 75 cents, right? But that's how much shaping behavior, that's how powerful behavior shaping is. It's not really about the 75 cents. It's like these behaviors yield an outcome. Why isn't this working for me, right? You can see this in abusive relationships, but you can also see this in poorly boundaried relationships. I also want to say something I thought about after our last meeting. I want to make this clear. Not all narcissistic people are good people, right? Just like all non-narcissistic people are not good people, but all narcissistic people are sick people.
Can you say that one more time, Brianna? Because I want everybody to hear that and let it resonate.
Not all narcissistic people are good people, right? As people who are not narcissistic, not all non-narcissistic people are good people, but all narcissistic people are sick people. And that's what you want to keep in mind, right? Expecting a sick person to be well is not rational.
Bree, can you also break down, I want to break down what you just said, because one of the things that we've talked about offline is that all or nothing thinking that sometimes we've been trained to have. You said something that I want you just to dive in just a little bit more.
Sure.
Can you break down the difference between an abusive relationship and a non-boundary relationship? Because they don't have to be one and the same.
Okay, so that's very good. I'll start with this. An abusive relationship is an unbounded relationship. Those are one and the same.
Right.
So if there's abuse, if there's violation of willing and knowing violation of rights, physical integrity, safety, well-being, esteem, like if those things are very intentionally and very systematically encroached upon, that's abuse, right? In fact, if your partner or anyone in your life is forcing you physically or otherwise to do things you don't want to do, that's abuse. Okay. A very good example of a poorly boundaried relationship that is absolutely not abusive would be the relationship I have with my mother. Or did have with my mother, right? Where like she did whatever I wanted her to do whenever I wanted her to do it, and I did whatever she wanted me to do whenever she wanted me to do it. And we love each other. And my mom's a good mom. I would listen. This will probably blow up. I was never spanked as a child. Like my mom was like really sweet. I'm like no boundaries, right? And so she was always very nice to us. And so that's a really nice example of a relationship that's not necessarily not at all abusive, but poorly boundaried. And so if you feel a lot of if somebody's not, and so if somebody's being mean to you, cruel to you, undermining your reality, invalidating you, belittling you, physically harming you, raping you, keeping you captive, accusing you, that's abusive. Who are you going with? Why are you wearing that? You shouldn't, control is abuse.